Don't touch it.
Don't touch that.
No.
Okay.
Okay, we are live. I'd like to call the May 27th, 2020 meeting, the Long Branch City Council to order, please. Roll call.
Mr. Vieira,
Here.
Councilwoman Vogt will be absent this evening. Mrs. Wittes,
Here.
Dr. Selly,
Here.
and Mr. Dangler.
Here. Can we now please recite the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag
flag
of the United
to the
States of
United
America,
States of America,
and
and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic
for
which
which it
stands
stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and
and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
I
Thank you.
hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Thank you. Before we follow the agenda, if you would please indulge, on the 2 weeks ago, former Mayor Chaffee passed away, and I was remiss in not asking for a moment of silence. I have respect for him, so if we could please have a moment of silence for former Mayor Chaffee. Thank you. Thank you very much. On the presentation, we have none. Reading and approval of the previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the May 13th, 2020 meeting.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Vieira,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Dangler.
Yes.
Mary, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Because my button up there, you.
Nope,
No.
you're good.
You're good.
Consideration of ordinances, public hearing and final consideration. We have none. Ordinance for introduction. This is the first reading of ordinance 19-20 entitled Affordable Housing Development Fee Regulations. I need a motion to introduce on the first reading, advertised and posted according to law, and set for public hearing for June 10th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Vieira,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Dangler.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, it appears that Councilwoman Vogt is in the meeting. I can see her.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
You're welcome.
thank you.
Councilwoman Vogt,
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you. Public portion for resolution and public and general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? So moved. If a member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone. A representative will call you by the last 3 digits of your phone. When you are called upon, you may state your name clearly for the record, and you will be given 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Okay, caller whose phone number ends in 385. Go ahead.
First, I want to say thank you to the Long Branch Fire Department and surrounding towns for the response to the Pleasure Bay apartment fire, really containing it and doing a wonderful job. Secondly, I want to thank you for the open meeting a week or so ago concerning the master plan, but I would like to better understand the process for meaningful citizen input, more than just the 5-minute limitation that we're allowed at the town council meeting. And then also, why isn't the planning board meeting more public where we can provide input? And third, if the planning board members could assemble a recommended reading list for the Long Branch citizens of journal articles and books, better understand how we can provide meaningful input, that would be wonderful. Finally, not every area requires commercial development, particularly on the north end. We appreciate the quietness of this section. Would like to see that remained and that it doesn't become like Ocean Avenue. Let me back up and say that my name is Laura Tarlow with 52 Baruch Drive. Thank you. I look forward to your comments about a meaningful input into the master plan.
So I'm sorry, in other words, so Lou or George, can you explain the process again? And I mean, the meeting last week was our first step in terms of getting back together, and we want to do another meeting after that. But can you address it?
Well,
Lou?
yeah,
I mean, you know the process better
Yes,
than I.
and then the master plan is not a council document, it's a planning board document. The planning board holds its own public hearings on the master plan and adopts it, and it doesn't require the adoption by the municipal council. The only portion of it that is adopted by the municipal council is if the planning board master plan recommends changes in the zoning ordinance, and that would then be done by ordinance by the council. So we actually are in terms of meaningful public participation, the statute only requires one public hearing by the planning board after a certain notice. And in order for us to put together a document that was, we thought, more comprehensive and more exhaustive, and to also, to make the process as transparent as possible, we've held one public information session, and we're going to hold another. And they're done, when you have the public hearing on the master plan before the planning board, the master plan is generally, I shouldn't say generally, it is completed already. And then it's just public commenting on a document. We've chosen to include the public in the preparation of that document. So I think you'll get some reaction back from Mr. Graviano as to comments that were made by the public. And then, of course, there'll be public notice, and the public will be able to participate formally in the process when the master plan is adopted.
With all due respect, Lou, thank you for that explanation. But one meeting doesn't quite cut it for the kind of input, because we have ended up with circular logic. The circular logic being that the town council felt that they could determine where the pool is going to be located because it fell within the aegis of the master plan. So now the master plan becomes key for us in terms of protection of what we view for, citizens view for property rights and development in certain areas.
In all due respect, Mrs. Tarlow, that's actually not the case. And the issue of tying the master plan and the pool, I believe there was a speaker at the last council meeting who went through the master plan and tried to determine all of the places in the master plan that person thought the location of the pool was inconsistent with. I think that it was me who just pointed out the fact that there were also provisions of the master plan that showed that the placement of the pool in a public park was consistent with the master plan. The master plan doesn't have anything to do with the location of the pool. So, and in all fairness, we're not talking about having one meeting. We're talking about having two town halls. And of course, there's the public comment period at the planning board, but anybody can submit a written, information or a written brief, let's call it, to the planning board with their opinion. So that is the statutory process, but I think you're trying to conflate two different things. The master plan says nothing about a public pool. I just pointed out the fact that the master plan said that should be the policy of the town to encourage the expansion of active recreation in public parks, and that's all it said. So the answer is I don't think it was ever said once by the council or by the mayor that the master plan dictated the location of this park. That's just you're trying to bootstrap two things together, and that's just not the case.
Thank you, Ms. Tarlow, for your comments.
Okay, caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Ernest McNally, born in Long Branch. I live in Asbury Park. I'd like to start off by saying the last few meetings I've been blocked out. I don't know why. It's probably an extension of how I'm blocked out on the police chief's email block list so that I can't email city officials. I actually have the list. I don't know how Mr. Arnone or the mayor will consider it lawful for the police chief to keep a blacklist of people who are not allowed to comment on Facebook, not allowed to email the city in emergencies or anything. So you've known about it, you've allowed it. It's all emanated out of the holy smokes political speakeasy where money's raised, political deals are made, city emails are used, theft of service takes place, drinking, women partying, sleeping there, starting campaigns against the sitting mayor, going off in city vehicles to presidential Wildwood events, holding anti-mayor and council fundraisers for opposing political people in Long Branch on Ocean Avenue with billionaires. And your own police chief is working very, very hard against the city, the mayor, the council, and everyone. And he's doing it on a $250,000 salary and laughing all the way to the bank. He's probably the subject of numerous lawsuits. And look what Judge O'Brien said in October of last year. He acted criminally when he arrested a citizen in that chambers where you're sitting right there. And in his court order to the prosecutor, right, in dismissing the charges against the victim, he said that Roebuck, as a public safety director citizen, acted criminally, no less wearing a firearm and a badge, and kidnapping, restraining, unlawful arrest, impersonating an officer, driving police cars, pulling people over. And what does he do? He gets away with it. So now what do? They create a room for mentally ill, psychotic cops for him to hang out with Cabbage Patch dolls. And then they brag about it. So you may think it's funny, Mayor. Let me tell you, you got elected to clean this stuff up. And these people are cleaning you up. You don't even realize it. You have no idea what people sitting on that dais next to you, that Martin over there, and Jackson and some others, even Renone. Look at Renone, a plant by Frank Pallone, is doing you no favors. You're being maligned by everyone. And we tried to help you, Mayor Pallone, but you don't want it. You're going to still think who you're keeping in there. All those people you were supposed to sweep out of there. Siciliano, Guzzi, Muzzi, Schmoozy, they're all laughing at you. And what do about it? Nothing. You let them attack us, victimize us. Look what they're doing to me and my family over the internet. Sending out sexual pictures with you in it, Mayor. And what do about it? I took your side, and now you abandon me. You won't even stop them from that speakeasy drug den at Speakeasy Holy Smokes in my church. You should be ashamed of yourself. Bring them over to Holy Trinity where they came from with you. The heck you send them over with us for? Because Frank Muzzi told you? That's another one. Selling underwater graves in these graveyards. Frank Muzzi. Yeah, George Jackson's friend. Really? We needed them like a luckin' cup. You know what that means? Like a hole in the head. I don't know what you're doing over there. This place is out of control. The firemen, drunk, drugged, humping
Mr.
everybody.
Magnolia, 1 minute.
I have what?
1 minute, sir.
Okay. So you're not doing any. And during this COVID, there were drunken parties at Holy Smokes on the lawn. I have pictures of everything. What do about it? Nothing. What does Muzzi do? Nothing. What does Father Javier do? Nothing. They're afraid of Alfred Guzzi and Thomas A. Siciliano III. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Those crumb buns? What do you think you're running over there? A corrupt, and talk about the fire. I heard a lot of firemen showed up drunk. It was Friday night, you know. and you got a heavy drinking, drugged police and fire department. And you got Peter DeLisa working for you. What more could you need?
Thank you, Mr. McNolly, for your comments.
Caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Request 1 minute notification. Good evening, Madam Clerk. Vincent Lepore, Long Branch. My questions, Mr. Martin, on shared services as a Chief Financial Officer, you are aware at the West Long Branch Council meeting on May 20th that the tax collection rate as of May 1st was 90%. There was no 30-day extension in West Long Branch. As of today, May 27th, Mr. Martin, what are your tracking numbers for the tax collection percentage in Long Branch?
I discussed this with the council earlier. We are on pace with last year's collection period, same time with May, about the same.
Do you have a breakout of the commercial and residential properties as far as collection percentage? All right. The referring to Resolution 9520 on tonight's agenda, is it your position that the citywide taxable property will increase 7% as per certification in this resolution?
The table of aggregates has been, I think it was established the end of May. Maybe it's coming out this week. We'll have an exact number once the county releases the table of aggregates.
Then, Mr. Martin, why are they doing the resolution tonight? Why is the governing body doing the resolution tonight if you're certifying numbers on the resolution to be adopted tonight?
All we're certifying is an estimation of what the tax bill is going to be for the third quarter, and that ball rolling to be out by June 30th.
All right, so that everyone out there knows, Resolution 9520 is a resolution authorizing the municipal tax collector to prepare and mail estimated tax bills. With Resolution 95-20, Council, again, you should be ashamed of yourselves. You're hallucinating numbers of a 5% increase in total levy, further predicting a hallucinatory 7% increase in taxable property valuations. Council, you're being clearly dishonest. In the coming months, the hit to home prices will become evident. Tax appeals this coming January will undoubtedly surge. The estimated 7% increase in taxable property values is unrealistic. And Council, putting this out there to allow this city to falsely claim that they have been able to nominally decrease the tax rate from $2.10 per $100 of assessed value to $2.06 per $100 of assessed value is another cruel deception by Team Pallone. Again, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Mr. Martin, is it on the table so as to generate immediate revenue for the municipal government by declaring null and void via fiscal emergency all agreements on tax abatements?
It's certainly not legal to do that.
I asked Mr. Martin.
So, yeah, it's a legal question, though. It's not a finance question. The answer is it's not legal to do it.
Excuse me, I asked Mr. Martin.
Good.
He's the CFO.
You got my
And
answer.
you're wrong,
It's not
Mr.
legal.
Reno. No, it is legal. In a state of fiscal emergency, all contractual agreements can become null and void for the public good. I don't know what gutter you learned your law in, Reno. I really don't know what gutter you learned your law in. But ever since July 1st, 2018, you haven't gotten out of that gutter. Mr. Martin, do you foresee a surge in property tax appeals by apartment building owners in response to the moratorium on evictions and tenant arrears brought about by the state shutdown?
That would be a question for the assessor, but I do not foresee mass appeals, no.
You do not see any mass appeals.
I do
In the
not-
event that we come up short, do you anticipate using any tax anticipation notes to help bridge the gap?
At this period in time, we have no intention of issuing tax anticipation notes.
You have no of using tax anticipation notes. All right, noticing the municipal budget's introduction has been delayed to June 10th. As there significant cuts at the state level, will council go back and look at areas that can be cut or deferred in the budget?
Thank you, Mr. Lepore. Your time is up.
I want an answer to my question. Mr. Martin,
We
do I
will
get an
en-
answer to my question?
We will entertain all possibilities.
Council President, we have no other callers.
Thank you. I need a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. On the resolutions, we can take the list of resolutions as a consent agenda. Grab a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Viera,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes,
and Mr. Dangler.
Yes. Applications, we have none. Miscellaneous business for the good of the order. Councilman Vieira.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening and thanks for attending virtual. And I'd like to give everybody stay safe and practice our social distance. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Councilwoman Vogt.
Thank you, Council President. I would just like to say, as we're all trying to find our way through this new world, some of our usual rituals and ceremonies get overlooked. So I would just like, on the part of the full council and the administration, just to give a shout out to all of our graduates, our high school graduates, our college graduates, our 8th grade graduates, our kindergarten graduates, every graduation that we typically hold. That unfortunately this year, those students weren't able to walk across the stage and get their moment in the sun that they so well deserved. So congratulations to all of those students, and best of luck with whatever your future plans bring. And thank you everyone for joining us this evening.
Councilwoman Wittes.
Hi, good evening. I first want to take a moment to thank the administration and staff for all your hard work, especially during these trying times. You've gone above and beyond and, ensured that the city is running up to speed at the same time. And I know it's a lot of work and we truly, really appreciate all that you're doing. And I'd also like to thank the school system in Long Branch, the administration and teachers and staff for continually teaching our students and keeping them, busy with homework and during the day, and ensuring that they, meet all the educational, guidelines that they need to meet. And I know that they're also going through a lot during these times. And the parents that are also working with their children, it means a lot. And I also would like to thank everyone who's listening tonight and taking the time out of your schedules to hear what we have to say. Wish everyone well and be safe. Thank you.
Councilwoman Selly.
hello, everybody. I have a couple of things to say. I would like to thank all of the employees in the city for taking care of the city while we are at home. You are working and we are not. But I do want to know that I personally thank you for carrying the load for us. And second of all, I think it won't be too long before we'll be out to see everybody. But in the meantime, stay safe and please stay healthy. Thank you.
Mayor Palogne.
Thank you, Council President. So as the beach and boardwalk are now open for the summer season, I'd like to remind residents and visitors to stay safe and please adhere to all the social distancing guidelines. We have contactless beach badge app called Viply, where beachgoers can purchase either a daily badge or season badge on that app. On Friday, May 29th, we're going to have our next city spotlight with Community Development Director Jacob Jones. We'll be discussing assistance the city is offering to our business community as the next phase of reopening begins. Tune in to see how businesses can get help and what the next phase of outside dining and retail might look like. I also want to point out that we currently have an extensive list of food pantries and kitchens that are open in the city of Long Branch on both our website and social media. Please feel free to share this list or even contact any of the pantries if you're interested in helping to volunteer. And with that, again, I'd like to say, please stay safe, be well. Thank you for joining us this evening and have a great week.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to thank everyone who has worked hard to keep the city moving as it has been. I know it takes a lot of work when you're working with half the staff that you're used to, your coworkers, but everyone has stepped up, and I certainly do appreciate it. And I'm sure the residents of Long Branch appreciate the hard work for all of you non-essential, you first responders, and so on. Also, as we step into collectively, as we step into, I guess, phase 2 of reopening, I would just ask you guys to understand and just be careful. That's all I think we're all asking. Just be safe. And the new norm may not be as much fun as we would like it to be, but we certainly would prefer us to slow down a little bit and appreciate the time that we can spend with each other, but do it safely, do it responsibly, and enjoy as much of the nice weather that I hope is coming soon for us here in Long Branch. Thank you and God bless you. I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.